Hi guys, it's your girl, Ash. Last year in December, I actually posted on Facebook asking for sub $20 earbud advice, and that's how I found myself in a bottomless pit of cheap, sweet hi-fi. Now, it is only thanks to my immaculate self-control that I only have 4 of these on hand now. The Vido Buds, which I've had for a while now and I've enjoyed a lot as well. I also recently bought the Faeel Rosemary, case Nameless, and the Tingo TC200. They're all under $20, perfect for the budget kings and queens watching this video. And we're going to do a shootout with them today. I'll be going through the characteristics of the highs, mids, and lows of each of these earphones, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about how much bang for your buck you're getting, and a little bit on the coherence and soundstage of each of them. I will not be looking at each of these as rigorously as how I look at a 2K earphone, because that's like comparing cup noodles with ramen noodles, actual ramen noodles, and we don't do that around here. Also, I'm also leaving out notes on packaging and comfort because it's unfair to judge a pair of really cheap earphones on their packaging. And when it comes to comfort, I think earbuds suit certain people and don't suit certain people. Your mileage may vary, so please consult with your own ears before you purchase these. Let's get started. So let's start with the Vidos. The Vidos are pretty much a staple in the hi-fi field. They need very little introduction. They are around USD $3 to $4 a piece and come in 4 colors: blue, black, red, and white. Urban legend has it that each of these colors have their own tuning, but I'm not sure about that. If it matters, I'm holding on to the red ones. The Vido is honestly pretty flimsy even when compared to the other buds in this series, but it's still better than some of the really atrocious earbuds that they give you on economy flights when flights were still a thing. But that said, I've actually been pretty rough with these and they've survived fine. I've shoved them into my short pockets, I've shoved them into my dress pockets, and if you know anything about female apparel, you'll know that our pockets are not large. Sound-wise, the Vidos sound good, very good. They're ever so slightly V-shaped with very nice, airy highs, which are also smooth, but they also sacrifice some detail for that same smooth highs. The Vidos mids lean a little bit warm, but not too much, and they don't quite sit very fat and forward. On the contrary, actually, I think they are a little bit recessed. But that said, it does its job by creating a sense of air and space without deploying any of the super splashy, bang super like disturbing trebles, and my ears are very thankful for that. Now, it is this same air and space that helps the vocals shine on the Vidos. You can actually hear the very breathy notes, which I'm kind of addicted to personally. The Vidos also have a very appropriate bass, nothing too strong, it just ties everything together into a nice package. To be absolutely honest, I don't have anything bad to say about the Vidos. They clearly outperform their price range, although its V-shape can become more and more apparent as you shuffle through your playlists and listen to things that are a little bit more intimate like acoustic pieces or bossa nova and jazz pieces. That said, it's a really fun pair of earphones, very competent and easily attainable if you have a little bit of spare change. USD $3 to be exact. Moving on to what I would term as earphones with a little more character, we have the Faeel Rosemary. My favorite thing about these earbuds are that they have a transparent casing. I really miss the transparent electronics of the 90s, and these really fill that hole in my soul. I'll start off this mini review by saying that these are actually really power hungry and will scale with your equipment. If you don't have something that you're confident can drive these well, I suggest you steer clear. So at first listen, I actually found the Rosemary's treble extension exceedingly meh. There is no sparkle, there's no airiness, both are things that I really like, and it actually gave me the impression that they just might be a little bit muffled. But when it came to the mids, holy all-encompassing mids, they are fat, they are lush, and they suck you straight into the heart of the song. And that is perfect for when you're listening to vocal heavy pieces, when you're listening to jazz singers crooning into your ear. It's absolute heaven. In general, the Rosemary is a pair of earbuds I would call bottom heavy, with most of its obvious sound bands below the mids. The actual bass though doesn't go super low, but what it lacks in depth, it makes up for in impact. The bass is also clean, for its price range and very enjoyable. Now moving on to soundstage. The Rosemary soundstage is it's like the arena kind of soundstage that wraps firmly around your head. Honestly, there's little to no positioning or imaging, but it is very enjoyable once again when you're listening to vocal heavy pieces. So is the Rosemary reference great? No, it's absolutely not reference. It is not balanced whatsoever. It is very, very warm, but for something in this price range, and if you're looking for something warm, the Rosemary might be perfect for you. That said though, some details can be swallowed up by its weaker highs. On the complete other end of the spectrum, we have the Fengru Tingo TC200s. These are very pretty, even though all of these earbuds actually have the same body. These are silver in color with a very nice looking greyish black cable and an entirely gratuitous LED looking window over here, which is a source of great amusement for me. So why do I say that the Tingo sits far away from the Rosemary, actually at the other end of the sound spectrum? This is because the Tingo has highs. It has highs. It has actually really, really good highs. You know, if I were to describe any aspect of anything I listen to in all of these earphones as giant killing, it would be the Tingo's highs. They actually measure up extremely well to sub 100 or even 100 plus earphones, and that is something that's extremely impressive to me. They're well extended, they're sparkly, they're well textured, and they're detailed. So what I'm saying is that these are good highs, they're addictive, and they stun you right off the bat. The TC200s are a bit lean and bright on its mids. It's a little bit less textured. It's smoother on its upper mids. This might be an effect of the really, really stunning highs bleeding down into the mids. But this also has the extra effect of giving the Tingo a sort of space for its mids to really breathe and move around. And this really, really adds to the sense of space that's already innate in the TC200. It's airy highs, it's very, very also airy mids, and both of these are extremely pleasant. But the TC200's bass is where it starts to lose its appeal for me. Its bass is very sluggish. It is, I would call it without a doubt, muddy. It is not my favorite thing in the world, but I will qualify this by saying that some of the lower string instruments sound really good when you use the Tingo's bass because they linger in a very beautiful manner. But of course, all this falls apart when you're doing faster genres like pop, when you're doing genres like anisong, and of course it falls apart completely when you're putting it up against something like heavy metal. All in all, the Tingo TC200 is a pair of V-shaped earphones that deliver quite a bit of airiness and clarity. Another thing to note about it is its pretty incredible soundstage and imaging, which is very punchy bass, goes some way in enhancing. And lastly, on a personal note, the Tingo's highs can actually get a little bit sibilant and fatiguing, but that is because I'm aware that I'm a little bit treble sensitive, especially when you're listening to it in a quiet room. Despite some of my very harsh comments, the Tingo's are literally below the price of $5. And for its amazing highs, I think it would be pretty unreasonable to ask for even more polish at its price. So I'd recommend them to anybody who likes fluffy, sparkly, fun trebles. Just drop a little bit of money on them. I don't think you'll regret it. So next up, we have the Case Nameless. These might be my favorite buds after the Vidos. And I promise you it's not because of the transparent casing, even though that is part of the reason. Let me explain to you why. Diving into the Case Nameless sound, it has highs. It has smooth highs. And that is all I'm going to say about the highs, because that is all the highs are. There are no high highs. The highs do not extend. There is no airiness. There is no sparkle. That sort of final, tingliness that I sometimes chase for. There's none of that here. Zero, zilch, nada. So right now it's sounding pretty depressing, so let's move on to the mids. The Nameless mids are hard to describe. They are smooth, they are pleasant, and they're very well filled out in the sort of vocally rich way that I love, but it's actually pretty hard to place how forward or backward they are on a sound stage, and that's something that's very interesting to me. So the sound signature of the Nameless is practically dominated by its bass, but not in the sort of boom boom thumpy bass sort of way. I'm going to try to explain a little bit. The bass colors the Nameless from the bottom to the top. It colors the mids, it seeps into the highs. The whole thing is made very, very mellow by the bass. But that being said, The bass is low, it is stable, it is controlled, and it is non-muddy, which is actually quite a rarity when it comes to budget earphones, and I really appreciate that. So all these seem to be middling comments at best, so why did I declare the case Nameless to be my second favourite after the videos in this series? To be honest, at first listen, the case Nameless were very underwhelming, especially after the soaring highs of the TC200. The Nameless's highs felt like tying a concrete block to yourself in a zero gravity chamber. It felt sad and pointless. After listening to it for a bit though, I started appreciating how mellow it is compared to other budget buds. A very warm, smooth listen that retains details without hurting your ears. And that is one of the most impressive and mysterious aspects of the case Nameless. The fact that it retains more detail than it possibly can while having that sort of sound signature. That sort of sound signature meaning nearly zero highs and being very bass dominated. All these characteristics together with the fact that the soundstage just sticks to your head, it feels like your favorite singers are crooning into your ears, and it feels really good. Who is the case Nameless for? It is a earbud for non-fussy listeners in a very intimate sort of mood. There is a noticeable lack of any sort of bling or bells and whistles, especially in the upper end of the sound spectrum. So if you're looking for something more spicy or exciting, this is not for you, avoid. So what do I think about budget buds? Despite some of the more colourful adjectives I've used in today's shootout, I love them. I've bought 3, I'd buy more if I'm not stopped. That way I can expose myself to a literal arsenal of sound signatures on a whim. It is very nice to know that every time I'm craving some extremely airy highs or some very mellow mids, I can start that up immediately with a pair of Chi-Fi earbuds. All that being said, I'm certainly gonna keep these buds on hand. I'm gonna accumulate them and I'm going to tap into them every time I'm feeling like something new. So this has been your girl Ash on the topic of Chi-Fi. This has been a 4-earphone shootout. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you'd like to see next, and subscribe if you'd like as well. So I'll see you when I next see you. Take care and goodbye.